Welcome to the SQL practice session 5. So as part of this session we are going to practice with these four items. So these are the set operators we are going to use for these practices. So first one is we have two tables in a database, and how we can select the all the records from two tables, and how we can list without any duplicate entries, and how we can find out the matching records between the two tables and non-matching records between the two tables. So these are the four items we are going to see and practice. So as we have as per the previous practice, so in employee tables we have 7 records, and as part of this practice we need to create one more new table backups already. As part of previous session, it should be there, backup tables, but still truncate that backup table and insert these 4 records, and whatever the highlighted record in a backup table, right, that is duplicate of the employee table. One record is so for let's get into the practice. Open SQL Studio, and first let us check the data exist in the both tables. So in employee table, so we have 7 records. Likewise, backup table also we can check it out. So backup table, there should be 4 records, and the first record alone should be duplicate entry of employee table. And here let's start with the first practice, selecting all records without duplicate entries from both tables. How we can take it up? So here you should notice that so both the employee table and backup table are having same columns and in the same order. So this is the practice first one we need to check and start with that. So for that, I'm writing a select statement for employee table and select statement for backup table. So in between, right, so we need to mention union. Union is one of the set operators where it does it will give the it will fetch all the records from these two tables, employee and the backup, without any duplicate entries. So here we can see. So when we execute, right, so before execution, seeing the execution result is in employee table 7 records are there, backup table 4 records, so 11, total 11 records. As part of the first practice, right, so I should not see the entry for backup table entry bala. So since it is repeating twice, I should see only once. So 10 records should be listed as part of first one. So here you can see 10 records are there, so I can see only one record with the name Bala. So let's get into the second one, selecting all records including duplicates from both tables. So I want to see the records from both tables including all records. In that case, there is a only slight change in the set operator. So instead of union, if you mention union all, that's all. So now run it and let us see. So it should be 2 records should be there. So here you can see there are 2 records. So one is Bala, and another record as duplicate entry record also you can able to see. And how we can list only matching records between two tables. So using set operator keyword, so in between that, so using set operator keyword intersect, we can find out so what are the matching records available in the between these two tables. So there is only one record, so Bala, so it will fetch you. And the fourth one is so how we can list non-matching records between two tables. So so using minus minus set operator, so you can find out non-matching records. So here what happens is it will set the base table as employee as base table, and it will get all the records from base table, and it will check those records exist in the backup table or not. If it does not exist, it will list out. So here you can see the only one record exists in the backup table, named Bala, so that is not present in this outcome. So same way, I want to see the records uh, which are available in backup table but not exist in employee table. So for that, we need to just copy paste this query, minus backup. So in this case, it will set the backup table as a base one, and here you can see 3 records should be there. So these 3 records are not exist in the employee table. So now we have learned about the set operators, union all, and intersect, and the minus. So now, like, let's get into the rules and restrictions of the using these 4 set operators. The first one, right? So let us practice with some examples. So I want to compare only uh, specific columns. So for example, name column alone, I need to compare between these 2 tables. So we can mention select name from backup and select name from employee. So if we run it, so you can see only name columns which are not available in the employee table, but it's available in the backup table. So what happens if we uh, uh, if we add more than one column in salary, so more than one column in backup table, and we are not mentioning in the uh, employee table, so it will give you an error, so where the query block has incorrect number of result columns. So what it does mean is, so as part of the set operator, the main rule here is whatever select number of columns in the upper query select query, it should match with the lower query. So so it does not matter with the column names and also here, right? So I can mention name comma id. So now also if we run it, it should run. It should run and it will give you the result. So since instead of comparing the column names and all, right, so it will check for number of columns in the upper select query and lower select query, and if it does not match number of columns, it will give you an error. At the same time, what happens if I change the data type of the columns? So for example, so name and salary is there. So name is varchar and the salary is number. Now the same in employee query also, name is varchar and id is number. So what happens if I give department here? So I'm just running this query. We'll get an error stating that expression must get same data type as corresponding expression. So whatever the it will throw like data type is not matching, right? So the salary is having number, but department is having varchar. So the second rule here is whatever the data types of these columns and should match with the data types of the lower query columns. So these are the main two rules. So the number of columns in the upper select query should match with the number of columns in the lower query, and the number of the data types of upper query should match with the data types of lower query. So that's how it should be. So what happens, how we can compare these how we can make this query as a runnable query. So what we have to do is we need to convert this varchar into number, or we need to convert this salary into varchar. So here you can say by using the to_char function, inbuilt function, we can convert numbers into varchar. So after converting the number into varchar, so we can run the this set operator query. So as part of this session, so what we have seen is we have seen union set operator with union all and intersect minus. So let us see the difference between these four. So union will give the will fetch all the records from both tables without any duplicate entries. Union all, it will give duplicate entries also along with the union query. And intersect is something, it will give you the matching records between both tables. And it will minus is something which will give the non-matching records from the both tables. So for example, as part of minus and in minus, right, so it will set the base upper table as a base table, and it will check for the records exist in the lower table. If it does not match, it will give the result. The main rule for these four set operators is the number of columns in the upper query, upper select and lower select should match, and the data types and order of the columns should match. If there is any changes in the data type, use to_char convert. We need to convert into data type of a specific one. So here we have seen, right, so salary is a number and the department is varchar. So we converted the salary from number to varchar using to_char inbuilt function.